Well, 3 lies about inbreeding, the consanguinity in dogs. Do you want to see the video? Let's go. The ingredient inbreeding. It's just a breeding system, really good when you know what you're doing. Obviously not recommended for dog breeders, for people without knowledge, for people who have no freaking idea about genetics. And obviously it is not recommended for an individual who doesn't really know what they are doing. It's not a system either, a breeding tool for breeders who carry, well, for example, 5 months, 2 years, 1 year, they haven't been here long. Why? Because truly, to make an inbreeding or a consanguinity, you are doing it with knowledge. And you know, really what problems can bring you doing that. And you know perfectly what you have in your line and what you don't have in your line. Therefore, it's important to know how it's done and what is done, okay? That would be super important. Inbreeding is also an English word. Inbreeding is always talked about in this case. We talk about consanguinity, but since it's an English term, we're going to always talk about one does a mount, makes a cross, makes a litter, and above all, with very close family members, that would be making a magnet. In the first generation, father and daughter. In the second generation, grandfather, granddaughter. It's about making crosses with relatives or kinship to set the homozygous genes. I mean, what are the homozygous genes? The dominant genes of the parents. You can only inbreed with healthy specimens 10. Phenotype 10. All 10 with spectacular specimens, with a line that you know perfectly well what it's going to give you. For example, the inbreeding is a hassle, it causes a lot of problems. Let's see, if I have all the dogs with a lot of bone in my line, when I do a blood closure, I'm not going to get dogs with little bone. I'm going to get dogs with a lot of bone, because I don't have the little bone in my line. So if I combine the genes of my dominant line, I'm gonna be more shut in that. All dogs are going to be homozygous in genes with an incredible bone. There are some things that are said out there that are not true about inbreeding. For example, inbreeding creates problems with genetic deformations and crazy offspring. Goodbye, almost nothing. The inbreeding or consanguinity, it brings deadly diseases and health problems. And above all, we're talking about inbreed and then breeds of dogs. In our pets, no inbreeding in people. Inbreeding reduces the size of the specimens. Well, not all of that. It's true. It can be true and it may not be true, but inbreeding is nothing more than bringing genes together. And try to have homozygous genes, strong, dominant. Therefore, the problem is not with the winter. The problem is with whoever does something without knowing it. To know, therefore, if I have a line with a health of 10, am I going to have any health problems? None. And if I have a line and together to fix the health of a dog 10 with another dog 10, is it going to come out? Cheers 10. Therefore, the problem is not impunity. I am an individual and I have this dog and this breed dog, but I have neither know where one comes from nor the other, and neither the health checks. And I inbreed because it's the son and the mother, anything can come out. In other words, it's doing things without knowledge. Let's see, of course, that everything you don't have when making an NVD won't come out. I think that's quickly understood. When one works, has a solid, ready line, and has worked for a very long time in a line, one can do inbreeding, of course. Can I make an ingredient a year? Of course I can do it, but when one has been doing it for a long time, one needs to start with bloodlines in purebred dogs. It has to take a prudent amount of time. What is the prudent time? I don't know. But it must have, depending on, you see, It's not the same raising 2 liters in a year as raising 10 liters. Okay, but at least there should be a reasonable time, 5 or 6 years, to do a hybrid and an inbreeding, and it has to be a logical thing to know what we are doing. People who have no knowledge can't make a breeding, can't deal with sangrira. There's another tool that works and is my favorite to work with. It's lineage. It would be another tool for breeding that would be in line. They are not direct blood closings, but always to merge the pedigrees and look in the 6th generation for a dog that repeats here and here. And you're always online in the line of the world champion X-Men, for example. You have to be an expert to do an inbreeding or to do inbreeding. And they should also be spaces in time. You can't be inbreeding every month or every 2 months. It's crazy. Okay? Are there advantages to inbreeding? Of course. Does inbreeding have disadvantages? Of course. If you know what you're doing, it has advantages. If you don't, it does. Many disadvantages. Well, guys, I hope you liked the video and see you in the next one. Share me if you like and see you in the next one. Greetings. Bye-bye.